album The Wake. And yeah, we're really proud of this. I'm sure you're gonna love it. This is the opening track, Obsolete Beings.
I know that we played Voivod at the start of the show and we played Voivod at the end of the show. We played it twice at that show, and I remember that all of our families were there, and even my grandmother was there, and also the bikers in town were there. You can hear them at the end of the demo when we play Stone Dead Forever from Motorhead. You can hear the biker starting their motorcycles on the demo. A great souvenir. And this year, for the 35th anniversary, we played the same exact stage, same spot, to celebrate, like up north where we are from. So to celebrate 35 years, almost like 35 years to the day. We played the same exact spot. It was great. We documented it, filmed it, many cameras and multi-tracks and all that, so hopefully we can use it. Anything from the new wave of British heavy metal was a huge influence to us. Tank, Raven, Sweet Savage. To forge our sound, we played a lot of covers at first, Venom and Motorhead mainly, and some punk, GBH, Pistols, but eventually we decided to start writing music. We actually did that fairly quickly because Snake joined in January '83, and by '84 War and Pain came out. So we didn't play covers for that long because there were no cover scene up north where we're from. If you were from Montreal, there were quite a few bars where you had to play covers, but for us up north there were no such things. So as soon as we learned a few songs there and there from other bands, we started to write the album War and Pain immediately, which was a great move because by the time it came out, the thrash metal movement was exploding, so we were lucky to fit right in. it's actually an interesting question because I think because of the influence of Magma and Rush, where they had a sci-fi concept about the environment, it really influenced me, and with the anarchist punk movement and anti-nuclear war and all that from the Reagan, the Cold War era, was a huge influence. But all over the years we've been talking about many things, ozone layer and Chernobyl and high-tech weaponry, and it just happens that nowadays the nuclear menace is back on the front lines, and also we have like recurring nightmares like Fukushima, and instead of talking about the ozone layer, we might think about the global warming. But I must say that the thing that scares me the most is still the development of high-tech weaponry. It's with artificial intelligence now, it's probably on the verge of getting out of control. Without getting any soldiers involved in a way, you know. I mean, the soldiers might be in some headquarters somewhere playing some type of video game while they are killing people with their drones, you know. It's kind of sci-fi. Immediately last year, when we did our very first shows in Romania, we fell in love with it. And here, I'm really glad to come back here because even though I went to take photos of the statue on the main square, the Voivod statue, I still went again today and took more pictures because it's just like just amazing. I mean, you know, Europe it's always been very special for us because in North America it's not that old. There's nothing like 900 years old churches and stuff like that in North America. So it's mind-blowing for us. And since in the 90s, since we started to tour the eastern part of Europe, we've been discovering like wonderful places, and now we are going to Serbia and Croatia and Lithuania, and so every year there seems to be a new country to welcome us, and especially cool for us in let's say Poland, Czech Republic or Romania, because they have voivods there, and so they every eastern country has its own version of the voivod, so they sort of we feel it's like they feel like we are family. Oh, it was the last part of. We actually we worked on the wake for a couple of years because we were touring a lot last couple of years, and we had to write songs either backstage or in the back of the bus. Rocky had a studio set up with his laptop, and so we kept fine-tuning it, and then we started recording it last fall and after the last Euro tour, and then we had just finished it in the spring because we kept adding parts and layers and string quartet and all type of like interludes and outros, intros, so a lot of work, but it paid off. And I say the very last part of the session was the most intense because we meant to write a 2 or 3 minutes instrumental final, and then Chewy had the idea of bringing back parts of every song into the last song, and then Snake decided that he would add vocals to it and started to pick parts on every song to fit everywhere on the last song, and so it was quite a puzzle because while I was recording Chewy was writing the final of the album, so it was coming to me bit by bit like a puzzle, and I had to find new beats for new riffs every day. And so the last, it turns out that the last song is about maybe 13 minutes long. So that was the very intense part of the session, because we had to really write it on the spot and record it and try to wing it and be the most precise as we can. But I would say we're very proud of the result of the new album, because it sort of shows that we worked a lot on every detail, I think. I mean, Snake could tell you more about it because he wrote the lyrics, but from the start he wanted to have a long story all the way through, and that's where we realized that it would be a little bit more work than expected. And because Chewy decided to bring many riffs back into other songs, like we did, let's say, on Dimension Atros. And so I think like Snake was also writing the lyrics as we were writing the music, and so he came up with some sort of like undersea disaster triggered by some rays from outer space, and with sort of awakening of the people on Earth that turns everything around, politics, religion, and there is a part in the middle where it's very, very spiritual, and all of a sudden it goes into a very galactic mode, and but it's all like very post-apocalyptic as well. And so I think he wanted to touch as many subjects as possible, like the same way we were like musically touching as many styles as possible. And like you mentioned earlier, Chewy and Rocky are more like fusion prog metal, and so it challenged Snake as well in terms of vocals, back vocals, lyrics, and everything. And so everybody worked really closely together. And so the story has all the Voivodian ingredients to it, and it's also like filled with messages, like about our planet. I still do. Lately, I've been doing lots of book covers, and but I still do logos, T-shirts, tattoo designs, CD covers, any type of art in between tours. On tour, I draw for myself in every town ink, and eventually I will release it on a book, the same publisher as my first book, Spider Press. And so I have time. I make myself available to do extra curriculum art, but for the past 2.5 or 3 years, I've had a bit more difficulties to be available, but it's perfect. When I'm not touring or recording with Voivod or Talkross, I'm doing art, and so I have a good life. And yes, Talkross, we had already demoed the whole third album. We are recording together in December in Minneapolis. For the first time, we are recording in the same studio. Funniest thing I heard lately, somebody called us deco metal. I just want to thank all the people in Europe for welcoming us. So far, it's been really amazing as usual, and it's wonderful. It keeps us going.